Namaskaram, everyone. So it's a sunny morning. The rain is a little bit fizzling out. It's not a very clear sky, but I can get the morning sun in my face. It's a blessing to be alive and experience all this. So basically, today, I just wanted to speak about a lot of misunderstanding that most of people actually have regarding the spiritual process. One of the biggest challenge that I've faced, because whenever a person goes spiritual, their entire family actually becomes not only against him but also against the spiritual process or the guru that person is actually following. But this is actually the misunderstanding, because what most of the people have actually thought in the past is, if somebody becomes spiritual or takes a spiritual path or wears a rudraksh or does not cut his hair or beard or whatever, or uses the vibhuti or whatever it is, most of the people think that, okay, now this guy is going to leave the family and go to the ashram. This is actually the misconception. It's a myth, because spiritual process has nothing to do with how you look, what you do, what you say, what you speak. It has nothing to do about it. Spiritual process is a inner process. It can be on all the time, whether whatever you are doing, whoever you are with or something. But now, why the family gets scared that this guy is not going to get married, all that kind of stuff. But if you ask me, statistically, the people I've met and everyone, I also had a similar kind of understanding in the beginning, but slowly, gradually, as I went through, what I've seen is most of the people have that kind of certain kind of, I wouldn't say vairagya, but certain kind of they become a little bit apathetic, indifference from the life. And because of that reason, they are looking for something more, and that is where they go on seeking, traveling around, doing spiritual processes, getting initiated or something. But if you are really ask me, that does not actually last forever. One of the main reason is because it has actually been driven by certain kind of motivation or inspiration rather than the clarity. Because if you have a clarity, then you don't need any motivation or inspiration. You can go on and on. But if you don't have that kind of clarity why you are on the spiritual process, why you are doing the spiritual path, on the spiritual path, you are actually looking for something better than what you are actually doing at the moment. And because of that reason, most of the people get initiated and then they are in the spiritual path. And the parents and then the society thinks that, okay, now this guy is going to leave the family and then going beyond. But as I mentioned earlier, statistically, this is not the case. Most of the people what I met, they are on fire. I feel that, okay, this guy is going to be enlightened soon, or this guy is very intense. Wow, kind of wow factor. There are most of people who have got a very advanced kind of experiences, and I feel that okay, now this is it for them. But I have been proven wrong again and again. I think less than, not even 1% of the people who actually follows the spiritual path actually becomes a brahmachari, or that basically the fear of the society becomes real. Only nearly 0%, not even 1% of the cases. Most of the people they are sort of spiritual for a certain period of time. They don't have enough clarity on how to sustain that for a long period of time without a certain factor. So for example, let's say somebody goes to the ashram, stays there for a few years, they are quite intense period of that time period, but eventually something changes in their life, and then they leave whatever they are doing, although they are carrying the spiritual process with them, but they are not going to leave completely. But they finally, because I have been shocked many times, because sometimes like they are thinking that like, okay, this is everything, I don't need anything more than this. But after a while, like I see their like marriage pictures, they are going here and there. Some people have been in the ashram for a long time, and then like now like they have left it completely. So these things are like based on many scenarios and everything. And most of the people who have actually gone to the ashram like or got married actually. And again, like I'm not saying like it's a good or bad thing, like I'm just like clarifying that the fear that people actually have regarding this, when people turn spiritual, they are going to leave everything, they'll become ascetic and everything. It's unreal, it's a myth, because most of the people cannot do that. It's nearly impossible, and like it's very unrealistic in today's contemporary world also, because in the past, like the spiritual process and all these organizations and everything, foundations, they were all supported by the kings or wealthy merchants and everyone. So I was saying that like in the past, like the spiritual process was funded by the kings or some kind of wealthy merchants and everything. But nowadays, you are on your own. There's no any organization or something that is being funded. So most of the time, like if you want to go on your own way, you should be supporting all this kind of stuff. And it's not a bad thing. That's why one of the reason, like the parents become very much skeptical. Their like wife, husband become skeptical. It's not actually real, because like I do not know about the other spiritual processes, like very hardcore kind of stuff. Again, that is also very for the very few people. But if you're asking from the perspective of the Isha, that which we follow, or the other like most of the more popular spiritual processes, like they just need like 21 minutes to do a certain kind of practice. And it has nothing to do with that actually scares the family, because like the Shambhavi Mahamudra, the flagship program of Isha, it's actually designed for every individual, whether you are like going to the business, or like you are having a family, or running a family, whatever you are doing. It has nothing to do with that kind of thing. You don't need to leave any family behind, you don't need to leave your work behind, you don't need to do anything at all. And nowadays, like it's growing, the culture is growing that like meditators are very easier to find to get married. Like there are a lot of matrimonial sites also dedicated to the seekers, or like who is actually meditating. So you can tell your friends and families. I can show you like a lot of examples that people who have been hardcore initially, but like it's very difficult to sustain that. And then like it's a good thing in an aspect that like they have got certain kind of experience, and then they go back to the society, and then they are actually like helping the other people out, because without them going there, like will not be able to grow as fast as we are doing at the moment, at least from the Isha perspective. So like the well-being of the people has been multiplied, because just us experiencing the profundity is not going to make the difference in the world. Everybody should be able to experience that, and that is what like a Sadhguru also mentions, that like a one drop of spirituality for everyone. So I've been interviewed by some of the parents, and then like sometimes many people would get a little bit of scared when saying me, but like you don't need to. It's not necessary for you. It's just the fear is your own making. People have their own karma and everything. That what I've seen is one of the situations. What I've seen is like people who have come to the ashram, they are thinking about the families, and then people who are in the family situation are thinking of the ashram. So like people are still in a way they are looking for something which they don't have is better, which is not the best approach. But this is the situation where we are in. So people are always looking for like a better alternative all the time. They are looking for something they don't have. And just like Sadhguru mentions that like if you are still looking for something that you don't have, then it's a never-ending process. So spiritual process is an inward process, is the inner process. So it's not mandatory for you to leave your family, home, or something. Certain kind of to be initiated in something, you can go away to the ashram for a certain period of time, but it's best that like you come back and then do it. If you can go hardcore, that's a completely different aspect, but like that is a very, very rare case. Even if you want to prove me wrong by becoming a brahmachari, I would be more than happy. But what I've been actually seeing is, I've been shocked many, many times, and then I've been proven wrong in a different way in the past. But yeah, I think like if you can prove me wrong, that's a different aspect. But yeah, so this is a myth that anybody who goes to the ashram or something, they become a brahmachari. It's not like that. It's not completely necessary for everyone also. There are various reasons, but this is basically for the family members, parents, and the wife, husbands, children, and everything. That Shambhavi Mahamudra, Isha, or inner engineering that has been offered by Sadhguru, it's for everyone. You don't need to become a brahmachari, you don't need to become ascetic, you don't need to leave your friends and families, and not only that, just by doing the inner engineering or the Shambhavi Mahamudra or getting initiated by Sadhguru, you are not going to drop anything. It's not going to happen for most of the people. At least not much, like nearly 100% of the people, it's not going to happen. So yeah, so like if you get initiated, then like joy would be the natural happening. You'll be joyful 24 hours. So more joyful people are needed to make this existence a beautiful place. It's everybody's responsibility. Let's make it happen. Namaskar.